lady right there. Her name is Valentina Gomez.
She's throwing. You know what?
She's throwing.
You can't expect white people. You can't expect white people to embrace the notion of that.
Right, but she's not white.
How about rich people? Because you got to understand something. If reparations happens and then the current stage work is not, but if it were to happen, they're going to tax the rich. It's not like they're going to tax rich people, or they're going to tax white people. So the average white person is going to tell you, "Fuck that." Well, I mean, it's simple. Like I gave you the analogy. I could call you right now, say UPS or Wells Fargo calls you right after I get done talking to you, and says, "You know what? When old Ed Pearson passed away, he owed us a few dollars, and I'm gonna need you to square that up." What would your first response be?
Oh, it ain't got nothing to do with me.
Exactly. That's your kin who owes them money. So put that perspective to the white person who's probably 4 steps removed from slavery.
So who hired her?
Better than the system. He prospered from that, but that's the answer you're going to get.
So, who? Now, my question is, who's paying her? Because she's Latino. She sounds like another Candace. She's saying.
What is her position? Is she just a talking head on YouTube?
She's basically a GOP pro-Trump. She's a Latino Candace Owens. She's a white Hispanic from Colombia. Now, out of all places, one of the most ratchetest drug-induced places in South America.
The home of cocaine.
The home of cocaine. She has the nerve to call something ratchet. One of the most purest historical holidays we have in the United States, Juneteenth. One of the purest holidays we have. She's calling it ratchet. And she says, I agree with real Candace Owens. If you don't like America, get the fuck out. But she's not from here. What is she talking about?
Was she born here?
I don't know. Let's look at her website. Oh, she's a major Latino coon. But you know, a lot of them, you could tell she's one of these white Hispanics. She identifies as white. Okay, so now
Mexicans, blacks, if they keep allowing people like that to speak for them, what's going to happen is they're going to become the voice. I told you years ago, this whole black conservative movement is going to end up being the face and voice of black America through osmosis.
Now, this is what she said. Oh, Missouri, of course. Oh, yeah, Missouri. Remember what I told you about Missouri? Huh?
When she was born in Missouri?
I'm not sure. Okay, she got her MBA in France. Okay, let's see here.
No, it's not American.
She immigrated to the U.S. There you go. She's an immigrant. She said.
So first of all, she shouldn't be allowed. In my opinion, if you're not born in America, you shouldn't be allowed to run for American politics.
She's probably an anchor baby. Let me get some more information on her. Let's just get it right.
If she migrated to America, then she wasn't born here.
She said her family immigrated here, so she has the immigrant mindset, of course. But
if you say her family immigrated here, that means they could have did it before she was born.
Okay, let's see. Okay, so on Newsweek, Republican candidate tells black Americans to leave U.S. in Juneteenth message. Republican candidate from Missouri has told black Americans who don't like the country to kindly leave. Staunch Donald Trump supporter. Let's see here. Oh yeah, she's you know what time she plays for. She's definitely for a race. She's definitely a race soldier.
For sure.
Okay, so let me see if I can find more information. Valentina Gomez, okay. Next election. Let's see here. Running for election for Missouri Secretary of State. I'll tell you one thing. If she gets any kind, black folks got to watch out for her in Missouri. If she gets any kind of, because she is cooning it up big. Okay, let's see here. She's running for Republican primary for Missouri Secretary of State. Real estate investor who has received national attention for social media presence. Real estate investor. Now, I want y'all to understand this here. Now, think about this. The GOP always talks about, oh, be fair, free enterprise, Second Amendment, this, that, and the third. Now, she's supposed to be a professional, y'all. I just want y'all to understand this. Now, she's jumping up, and right off the bat, she's attacking the day that got her burrito eating ass over here. Her parents wouldn't even be able to get over here if it wasn't for our folks in the 60s. They would still be in Colombia talking to El Chapo, or who's that one guy that was in Colombia? What's the dude that who's that big kingpin? What's his name? Pablo? Huh?
Pablo Escobar.
Yeah. Was he from Colombia?
Yeah.
Yeah, she would still be under control of his ass. She'd be sitting up there eating a potato and a bowl of salsa if it wasn't for us. So I think, like I say, we're getting ready to get close to some real battleground states. This chick was born in 1999, bro. She's 25 years old. So they're sending out their little minions, and really, that's the talking point. And like she says, I agree with Candace Owens. So now what she could say is, well, hey, I'm not racist. Candace Owens feels the same way. See, so the GOP's doing that. So yeah, I think that she's talking. She's attacked. She's burning LGBT books with a flamethrower. So they got her on these. Yeah, so she's Colombian immigrant cause attacking reparations calling. Okay, yeah. Okay. Born in Colombia. Okay, hold on. Let me look at some other stuff. Opponent of controversial books and opponent of illegal immigration. I'll be damned. So yeah, she took a flamethrower. So yeah, this is like performative stuff, bro. February 8th, it says a Republican candidate from Missouri is getting attention for posting. So she was burning some books with a flamethrower on social media. She says, when I'm Secretary of State, I will burn all the books that are grooming, indoctrinating, and sexualizing our children. I agree with that. Yeah. I agree with that 110%. So they'll do a little bit of that. They'll start saying stuff like that, but then they'll hit you with the, well, yeah, black folks shouldn't get no reparations, and oh, they're ratchet, and oh, they're all hood rats and all that, and oh, she's a vocal opponent of illegal immigration. But she's an immigrant. See, she might have got here legally, maybe. She might have got here legally. So yeah, she's Missouri. So what she's done is she's ingratiated herself with the race soldiers. I don't know if she's gonna win anything, because she's not polished at all. She don't sound too bright. She could have just said with Juneteenth, hey, I don't agree with it or whatever. She says, oh, it's ratchet. So you're taking a foundational black American word. That's a word that we created. That's a word that black Americans created. So, but yeah, you gonna have those out there. I mean, the only danger she may be is if she actually gets, hold on, wait a minute. We're gonna play this too. Because there's another thing I want to play. You were talking about drill music. The UK, good or bad, listen to this nigga. You won't believe this. Listen to this Negro. This is capoeira. This is capoeira martial arts. You won't believe what this dumb nigga's about to say.
Drill music.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Listen to what this nigga just said.
England started drill music.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know
Chicago started drill music. Don't come in with that.
I did not know that.
England started.
Man, nobody want to hear that.
No.
You coming over here now? We about to have. I thought this was gonna be a good show.
So no.
Don't come.
So
you
listen.
doing the same thing that Jamaica do. She come over here and she start taking stuff from America.
Right. No, let me teach you something that you never know.
Try to break it down.
No, let me teach you now. UK is the start of every culture, every pop culture.
What?
UK started the Afrobeat wave.
Not Africa.
The wave.
The wave.
The wave in terms of the acceptance on the West.
Okay.
UK started that wave.
Now you ain't gonna believe what this nigga's gonna say next. This nigga, wait till you hear this nigga say this next thing. It's gonna blow your mind.
when it comes to your R&B music, most of your R&B.
Oh no, we're not gonna do that, bro.
Listen to me.
No, we're not
You're
gonna do
listen.
that.
Most of your R&B writers are from the UK.
They might be from there.
No, but
Smokey Robinson's from the UK. This nigga said the R&B. Now he might try to clean it up in a little bit. Now this right here, that's when we say tether. That nigga's on some tether immigrant coon shit. Because come on, dude, you really gonna convince us that Motown's from the UK? Motown, Smokey Robinson. Then see, this is why I was telling you the other day. It's extremely I agree with Taraji to what she was saying. We gotta take our culture back because at least from the educational standpoint, we might not own all the record labels or whatever the case may be, but we gotta set shit straight and check this shit. Because now we got folks, look, even with the hip hop thing, before you know it, bro, they gonna start saying, well, James Brown was Puerto Rican and that nigga was from fucking Egypt. Like, dude, the birth of hip hop came straight from foundational black Americans. That's James. You wouldn't have hip hop without James Brown. He let niggas sample everything and never sued nobody. All hip hop came from James Brown. All of it. Everybody sampled that nigga. And the thing is and funk was created by James Brown. Funk was pioneered and architected solely by James Brown. Now you can hear some stuff a couple years after James Brown, when you'll listen to it and be like, damn, that sound like James Brown. That shit's funk. They just took it and might have added their own. But funk he was the one that created it. It was nobody else. Like with hip hop, yeah, you had several people in the 70s, in the early 70s that was putting it together. They all was, you know what I'm saying, we was black Americans. But funk was all James Brown. Now, yeah, he had a band, but that sound was architected by him and his band. He created funk. You wouldn't have hip hop without funk. You just wouldn't have it. You know, but this dude says R&B, bro. And see, that's why it's important that black Americans have to check folks every step of the way to let them know whether they, you know, what I've been hearing mostly folks that's not from here saying that, like this dude, or you might hear some folks from Puerto Rico or whatever, because they didn't create it and their ancestors and lineage, none of them created it. It's almost like they're jealous. It's like, okay, dude, do your music. If you created some music and your folks created some music, yeah, we be like, okay, yeah, he did that. We ain't got no issue with that. But when you're just flat out lying, you gonna sit up here and say that Motown, somebody in the UK created art, rhythm and blues? Like you gonna ignore Muddy Waters and Howlin' Wolf and all that? That's insane.
But you telling me that the blues and all the stuff we done, the blues started in there?
You know what I said? I said R&B.
Yeah, I'm gonna say
okay, no, and you know
Mississippi,
man.
No,
blues is American thing. You talking about America? R&B is not American. It's not synonymous to America alone.
It came from rhythm.
This nigga said R&B. This nigga said R&B, bro. Can you believe that? This nigga said rhythm and blues. We just gonna look this up just for a little bit. Now we're just gonna go on Wikipedia, cause he ain't gonna say Big Joe Turner in 1955. Rhythm and blues originated within African American communities in the 1940s. We just gonna go on Wikipedia for it. You know, I know Wikipedia, man. At a time when rock and jazz-based music, heavy, inconsistent beat was more popular in the commercial rhythm and blues, typical of the 1950s through the 70s, the bands usually consisted of piano, 2 guitars, bass, drums. R&B lyrical themes often encapsulate the African-American history. The term rhythm and blues has undergone a number of shifts in meaning. In early 50s, it was frequently applied to the blues records. Starting in the mid-50s, after the style of music had contributed to the development of rock and roll. All right, let's go to rock and roll. Originated in the late 40s to the 50s. Now let's just see who they got. Let's see if they're going to be honest. Now, the people that I see, They got Louis Armstrong down here. They mentioned something about Elvis Presley. He got that from us. He didn't create that shit. He was a knockoff version of us. We know that. Chuck Berry, 1957. Chuck Berry, Little Richard, they were the architects of rock and roll. Speaking of which, I'm about to play something. Check this out. You probably never heard this. Hold on. Happy Juneteenth, everybody. We got to set the record straight. Folks is lying. They're lying because they have no style. See, when you got to steal something from somebody, you don't have culture. When you have to steal and lie, that means you don't have culture. Because if you got culture and talent, you don't have to lie about it. You don't. You don't have to lie about stuff like this.
And the best new artist is me. I have never received nothing. You all never gave me no Grammy. And I've been singing for years. I am the architect of rock and roll. They never gave me nothing.
Little Richard, the architect of rock and roll. If you listen to this Negro that was just talking, he'll tell you that the UK had something to do with Little Richard.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they don't want to tell you about that. Louis Jordan, known as King of the Jukebox, popular in the late 1930s and the early 50s. See, he didn't mention that person. He was born in 1908. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He was born in 1908. I'm looking at some other people. They got Jackie Brinston from Clarksdale, Mississippi, born in 1930. He said was an American singer and saxophonist who, with Ike Turner Band, recorded the first version of Rocket 88 in 1951. Yeah, this is undeniable. See, what you have right now, bro, is a lot of black folks here in America. We digging up the dirt and we looking at all the inventions in the music and all the stuff we didn't invent in these past couple 200-300 years, man. And all the stuff that we done did for this country, and we're acknowledging that this is direct stuff we could go back. When I say, yeah, I might not have all the names of everybody, but we could, you know, if black folks here just said, man, I'm really gonna do some searching if somebody just don't burn up the papers. Because, you know, a lot of them white people have a lot of those, they have a lot of that stuff, man. They have a lot of documentation that's in the archives and stuff. Like people have our information. They have our information where our people came from and, you know, different plantations, and they might even have stuff to go all the way to Africa. But they not just gonna give it to us, you know what I'm saying? But you best believe people got artifacts and all kinds of ancient shit. So that information, there's people that own that stuff. It's not just lost. It's hidden. There's people that have this information. It's probably very wealthy people might have a whole damn basement full of it for all we know. You know, but we're acknowledging our lineage and saying, hey, this is important to American history. And, you know, we're drawing a line in the sand to say, you know, hey, this is something that our kids need to learn. And, you know, we're not going to accept nobody lying about it. So when you got somebody that has to lie, you know, because see, what he's preparing in a person like that is very dangerous. That's why I really didn't like what a lot of these so-called rappers is doing, lying about where hip-hop came from right now and stuff. They don't really want to talk about the Jubilaires, and they don't really want to talk about James Brown and some of these folks or whatever, because then they have to admit where it really came from. And people will say, well, yeah, R&B came out in the UK. Okay, well, show me your Muddy Waters. Show me, why don't y'all got a Michael Jackson over there? You see what I'm saying? That's like him saying, oh, well, rap started here. Okay, why y'all ain't got no Nas then? Show me y'all's 8 Ball and MJG. Show me your Nas. Show me your Jay-Z. Show me your Cash Money records. Show me your Rakim. Show me a duplicate of that person. They ain't got it, bro. Because they don't have the same talent. They just don't got it. You imitated from us. You got it from us. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But don't act like you got a Nas or a Rakim. No, you don't, because you would have been had one.
Yeah, well, the times, when it comes to the rap game and hip hop game, at the end of the day, bro, it was controlled and founded by blacks. It's not controlled by blacks anymore.
Right. That's true.
This notion that these terms like culture vulture, and shit like that has to be a thing of the past, because you got to understand something. Right now, when it comes to the rap game, unfortunate to say, white people are the one putting up all the bread.
Well, that brings me to Trap Lord Ross. You asked me about. You were saying, "Hey, who's this Trap Lord Ross guy?" I said, "Well,
I got a lot of respect for him. He's not a culture vulture.
Yeah,
you know what he is?
Trap Lord Ross just got online, and he probably was just a fan of the music. I don't think he's like a Adam 22 or a Vlad. I think he just studied.
Michael. He's no different. He's just a fan of that music. He's from the UK, which ain't nobody from the UK really covering it like that.
Right.
And here's the main thing. That is, he represents the majority of the people that are actually spending money on that drill shit.
Right.
Any black man with some sense is not listening to that crap. It's not music. You know what I'm talking about? It doesn't. You have to be a certain mentality as a brother or somebody here in America to listen to that. But to the European little white boy, that shit's cool. He covered it and he started making money. Well, he's got to understand that whatever money they making out in the UK on that drill shit, Lil Durk, all these, they got to thank him.
A lot of some of the drill rappers have accused academics,
culture vultures, or anything like that. There's no more of that. Those days are over.
Some of the drill rappers have accused academics of fanning of fanning the beef in Chicago.
All academics did is he did that thing called War on Chirac. And then he would do commentary over dumb niggas in Chicago doing shit, killing people. He would do commentary over it and make it funny. Hey, guess what? When you do stupid shit, don't complain when people make fun of you. That's the rule of the land. I got very little sympathy for these gang members running around here, especially DJ Academics. I might not agree with him, but he's smart enough to know how to make money. He got a lot of hits and a lot of views off people laughing at them motherfuckers. Are they mad at him? He had nothing to do with the beef in Chicago. One guy, he's just reporting on it. These rappers want to be social media members and this and that, and they get popped for RICOs. That's what they need to be worried about.
Now he got caught. Now he was making fun of artists and stuff like that.
Vic Mensa's the only one I ever seen say something to him.
Vic Mensa?
Yeah, that's the only person I ever seen confront academics. Like, he told him, I should smack the shit out of you.
Why did he want to smack him?
Because like I said, DJ Academics had a YouTube thing called the War on Chirac. He would take these clips of these people in Chicago doing crimes and this and that, shooting people, and he'd make commentary over it. So he made it into a joke.
Hold on, I got some footage. Hold on.
We were a little bit repulsed by the fact that so many people outside the culture of Chicago, they hyped up the music, not knowing that real lives were being affected. How do you feel about that?
I wanted to slap you in your face, honestly. People exactly like you made a following off of clowning situations that we go through in real life. Whatever made you feel like you had a space to have a perspective on our people dying?
Drill was so hyped up by everyone. I had to give a different perspective. The content was not just negative.
It was just negative. And I'm going to tell you the truth. I really think you a bitch. Who made you eligible to even weigh in? You sitting at a computer,
Everybody weighs in.
fucking typing. You talking about real shit. What you know about that, bro? Those are ballsy things to say, not coming from a ballsy person. It's just kind of sick when it's real people dying young. I'm at those funerals. Man, that's some whole shit. But we should just move on.
Oh, okay. So this is...
That's the old person advocacy confront academics. People got to understand, academics from the same place Stephen A. Smith's from.
Oh, okay.
There's no black African involved in these people. They just have the skin color so they can get away. But if you always notice something, these people have a skewed perception of blacks. Stephen A., Candace Owens, DJ Academics. You want to tell me those are probably the 3 most downloaded, they call blacks.
There was this one other dude, and a lot of black people supported him. He's also there from the islands too. This one dude, he was on some live, and
about Melvin or something like that.
He's a big podcaster. Like his name is It was a lot of people that was on his
Fresh and Fit.
No, they some huge coons. They some real coons. But no, it wasn't Fresh and Fit. Fresh Fit, them the lamest niggas on the face of the planet. But it was
died something Samuels or something like that.
No, it wasn't Kevin Samuels. He's
about a well-kept man or something.
No, it wasn't Kevin Samuels. He's Black American. But it was this one dude. He's a young guy from New York. I think he's Caribbean, and he was saying something slick about black folks, talking about, y'all not even African, you ain't even Caribbean, what are you? You just black or something. And niggas had to check his ass like, okay, wait a minute, what the hell are you trying to say? He was basically insinuating y'all ain't got no culture. And I'm like, no, nigga, we are the culture. So he kind of got checked about that shit. I forgot his name, but he was a big podcaster, and he had a lot of support, a lot of black support. A lot of black folks want to see him win and stuff. And I think his let me see if I can find his name. His name Damn, what is his name? Let me see if hold on, just give me a second. Let me see if I can find it. No, Fresh and Fit. Yeah, he's always talking slick about black Americans. Oh yeah. Here he goes. Kai Sennett. It's not, I don't know why it's not playing. I've been wanting to play this for a minute. Hold on, let me here it is.
Black. You're black. It's black. You're black. You're just black.
Just be yourself and.
Now, I find this to be very ironic, when people come to America and say these things like, you have no culture, we have all the culture. But they forget that we're the reason why you guys are even able to come here, because they didn't want immigrants here at all. Let's start. Then all of the music that you play is rap music which is black music, right? But all of the artists that you bring, none of them are from where you from.
That's real talk. That's real talk. See, this dude got up on there. He said something real slick, and folks got on his ass. Now his folks is from the islands, and we see this as a pattern. This is a pattern that's been going on, and black folks kind of had enough of it. And they said, okay, we gonna call these niggas out. This shit's getting out of hand. They'll have, like you said, they'll play the music. They'll have a lot of, it's not like wherever he's from, it's not like he's getting an overwhelming amount of people from the Caribbean artists to really come up on his platform and stuff. This is a lot of black folks, a lot of black Americans that, support him and stuff like that. So I guess one day he just got upset because somebody was in the chat or whatever, and he said, okay, I'm just really going to say what I really feel about black Americans, and so just drawing a line in the sand, he's drawing a line in the sand. But no, this dude right here, man, I thought that was interesting with this UK dude. I'm gonna let him keep talking.
Rhythm and blues. No, listen, it's really. So just because you name something,
rhythm and blues, hold on,
baby. So just because you name
without
it, no.
The blues,
listen,
none of this stuff would be out here.
You know what America is good at?
Ray Charles started today.
You know what America is good at? So hold on. So hold on. So hold on. America is the first place that had a radio station and music instruments.
Ray Charles.
So you see how he tried to start going into when the brothers started kind of getting on him, like, wait a minute, Ray Charles, you have the black folks who created rock and roll. Then he started talking about a radio station. Once he started losing the debate, he starts talking about a radio station. It's really, truly pathetic. It's really, really, truly pathetic, man. On how some of these folks go in. Now, what the sister was talking about, fighting for folks to come over here, I want to talk about, there was an old article that I had pulled up about Frederick Douglass with the Chinese Exclusion Act. Now, this was in 1874. And, it's something that had to do with the railroads work and stuff like that. They had some Chinese migrants that were coming over here that were working on the railroad, and the white folks started, they lynched like 18, Chinese men, and they made, I think they had a riot in Denver, Colorado on October 31st in 1880, and so it looks like California legislators had passed state taxes targeting the Chinese, and then during that time, a Republican from California, Representative Horace Page, he proposed the Page Act, and that passed in Congress in 1875, allowing the United States to prohibit any undesirable immigrant coming from Asia who might be what they call a coolie, which is an indentured servant or a prostitute. So in 1867, Frederick Douglass, he delivered a lecture in Boston to urge his audience to reconsider any hatred toward the Chinese. This is in 1867. 1867, bro. Our folks been putting in work, fighting for other people that didn't have no benefit for us whatsoever. Nothing. There was really nothing we was gonna get out of it. We didn't really have to help them. But, black folks was like, hey, we're being undermined. And we see these other folks being undermined, and they just didn't like it. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, I mean, it's just getting out of hand. We just got to check our cousins. That's all it is. That's all it really is. You got to set folks straight, because they can't be doing that. And here's what the worst part is. Back home, just like that lady in Colombia, if she would have spoke against her people, if her folks were supposed to be owed reparations or, even just be treated fairly, do you know that they would have killed her in Colombia if she would have spoke against them? She would have never survived. Same thing with this dude. If he would have went to the Caribbean, back to the Caribbean, and let's say, the UK had said, well, you know what? If Europe said, look, we owe the Caribbean reparations, we have to pay them back and we have to do this. And he got up on a microphone and said, oh, y'all are just black and you don't need this and you don't need that or whatever like that. Man, that nigga's head would be on a platter. They probably wouldn't even be able to find his ass. He'd be kidnapped, thrown in the trunk for pulling that bullshit. So folks have gotten too comfortable is what the problem is. So you got to gatekeep, man. You got to do a little bit of gatekeeping. You know, when black Americans, when we want to gatekeep and we say, hey, wait a minute, that's off code, you shouldn't be doing that. Folks say, oh, it's just music, it's no big deal, it's this and that. Is like, nah, because see, now that's like that erasure now. If you start saying, well, hey, this didn't happen, this wasn't created, this never ever happened, then now people have to go ahead to just brutalize you for anything else. There was an article I just read about a guy, he just got charged. They're trying to charge him with a hate crime in Washington. Have you ever been to Washington?
Yeah.
There's a he punched an
down from here to Washington D.C. and back.
No, I'm talking about Washington State.
No, never been there.
There was a young black boy that was punched. A white man punched him in the face and said, don't ever speak to a white man like that, or something like that. He said something. I think the kids were doing a fundraiser, or it was something like that. You know, and now check this out real quick. See, whenever you hear a white person say, well, go back to your country, or, oh, you know, go back to Africa or whatever, I want people to understand this right here from this. Now, this is something I'm reading from the Bill of Rights Institute. Now, millions of European immigrants, they came to the American shores from 1880 to 1920. As their numbers increased, additional calls were made for immigration restrictions in the early 20th century. Now, this movement achieved success during World War I when Congress passed a law requiring a literacy test of all immigrants. By 1924, Congress passed the Immigration Act, and that set quotas severely curtailing European immigration and banning all immigration from Asia. The law stood for decades until it was revised in 1952 and 1965, expanding immigration again. Now, what happened between 1952 and 1965? Civil rights. Black folks was on the forefront. So that's when they started bringing a whole bunch of people from different places to flood the zone. But who was it in 1924 that was standing up against a lot of these immigration acts? Foundational blacks. From Frederick Douglass in the 1800s to 1924, and even in the 60s. There was also something called the Japanese internment camps. I believe that was 1952. Was that World War I or World War II? I can't remember which one. But black folks was standing up for them for that. You know, so yeah, we not accepting no folks on this coon shit. We can't have that. We can't have it.
Yeah.
Now, I'll cover like one or two more articles here. Real quick, I wanted to see what your thoughts was on this here. You probably never heard this before.
The record company, Clive Davis, we held them hostage like guns, the whole shebang. Yeah, it was like that.
Because, wait a minute. I want to make sure we understand.
Yes.
Guns?
Yes, guns.
With bullets?
With bullets.
Come on, give me the story,
I'm going to tell
baby.
you because TLC had generated on Crazy Sexy Cool $75 million, and they gave us $50,000 a piece. So I was like, what the hell? So, of course, Lisa was the ringleader.
Like, we need to go get our money. I need to know where my MF and money's at.
So, you know, she was locked up in the diversion center for burning down the house. And she was just like, okay, we gonna get LaFace and them girls I was locked up with. We gonna drive up there. We gonna take the guns. And then we had this limo driver.
Wait, she just got out of jail?
Yes.
Okay.
And we had the limo driver. And he was the getaway car. So we went up there and held everybody hostage. And Puffy was the one that snitched us out. Yo, B, your girl's up here mad bugging, yo. And I was like, oh, Puff, why you gonna snitch us out, dog? But he called it. Yeah, because we kicked him out of the meeting.
Well, wait a minute. Puffy, mind your damn business. Okay, go ahead, son.
Man, TLC was on some gangster shit. TLC was on some gangster shit. They ain't like that scrub deal they had.
No, they didn't. You know who the one who told on them when they was gonna go fuck L.A. Reid up? Diddy.
Oh man. So
Well,
yeah, okay. So if that was, if I seen that, I just want you to I want you to check that out because I thought it would be cool. Man, that's crazy. He told on.
They told a story. They went into L.A. Reid's offices with some weapons, and they was getting ready to deal L.A. Reid up, fix him up. And then Puffy seen it. I think he worked for that record company at the time. Puffy seen him do it and went into L.A. Reid's office and said, "Hey man, these girls gonna fuck you up."
L.A. Reid's a brother.
Yeah, I mean, to me, when you deterrent to your own race, I don't think you're a brother.
So L.A. Reid was gonna rip off he was ripping the sisters off.
Hell yeah, he was ripping them off. TLC signed a historically horrible deal. And you can say that like, hey, you signed a deal, that's cool. I understand that. But when you intentionally, as a black man, intentionally know I'm screwing this person over, and you know that it's not up to you to teach them the game, but it's up to you to come up with a business plan that doesn't involve screwing people over, especially your own race. As soon as you screw over your own race, to me, you're no different than a race soldier. What's the difference? You're actually worse. These Diddies and these kind of motherfuckers, that's why they ain't got a lick of fucking sympathy. They didn't hold down his race.
Yeah, that wasn't right. Did you hear about this?
Harvey Weinstein. Reason why white didn't give a fuck about Harvey Weinstein is because he was raping little Barbie. When you rape Barbie, hey man, that's Barbie. That's the white man's dream. When you raping Barbie, they through with you.
Did you hear about
you gotta hold down your race.
Did you hear about this Ecuadorian? They keep using the term migrant. He's not a migrant. He's an illegal. But how's he an illegal? How's he illegal when he's not illegal anymore? Illegal means they ain't supposed to be here. Doesn't mean we don't want you here. Hey man, these guys are voters. So you want to do? Hey, for the foundational black, it's a catch-22. Because like I told you, that white man that lady was talking to about the 40 acres and a mule, if he had the balls to give his perspective, it would be you guys are starting to stop voting for it. What are we supposed to do? You feel what I'm saying? Now, when I say black elections, black leadership, where's the buffer? What about if DP is the buffer right there? And goes, well, you know what, man? You want our vote? Well, we're going to want this, this, and this. And you don't have to bring 50 million migrants over here. You got us. But we need this, this, and this. What that conversation needed was a buffer. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Yeah. They needed a buffer. They needed the negotiator. It needed that. It needed the Judge Joe Brown, the DP to say, wait a minute. Okay, so we kind of got a catch-22 here. You senator, really the Democratic Party, okay? Republicans ain't doing that shit. Right, yeah.
So the Democratic, the Democratic Party. So you were mad at us foundationals because we're basically telling the world we ain't voting for you no more. So we had to create our own voters. So how can we get in the middle and stop that? Well, we want your vote. If we had your vote, we wouldn't be dealing with these migrants. Okay, so how about this? How about you give us this, 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 and this? Buyout. Put us on the whatever it is that right there. That buffer is the problem. Because here's the thing with white people, they'll negotiate with anybody. As you can see, they took illegals who are some that already have snuck over here, mind you. This is not all people that they brought here. They took some of the illegal motherfuckers too and said, all right, now we're going to let you get driver license. We're going to let you do this and that, because the reason they allowed all that other shit is because the main goal was to have them vote. But guess what? We can't have it be so obvious. So let's do this. Let's sandwich it. Let's give them driver's licenses. Let's let them work. Let's do all this. So then we can just kind of ease in. Oh yeah, by the way, they can vote. Boom, 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 boom. That was the whole reason. You know what I'm talking about? You want to talk about that lady? She can go past 40 acres and a mule. the African or foundational black race, that race in America, has a lawsuit against white America, America in general, for generational suppression, which causes and has caused PTSD. Okay? I believe it's a race of people from being suppressed, from generationally suppressed, have developed this disease.
And financial, suppressed financially. Like, remember I told you about how, like,
blacks have been suppressed in every way.
Every way.
You can think of by the white man. Every humanly possible way. Because they've been allowed to. Don't think Paco. Don't think the $5 Indian. Don't think the Mexican, the Chinaman. Don't think they can't get it too. The reason they don't get it is they got that buffer. Because at the end of the day, I might not like you, but I need them votes. You think Dems want, do you think that, but Joe Biden specifically, the real Joe Biden don't like no fucking immigrants? But no. He knows they're going to vote for me. I need to win. This is bigger than Joe Biden. Trump is, if he was crying 4 years ago about what happened, because what they did was skullduggery. What Nancy Pelosi and the Democratic Party did to win that election, so people should be going to prison.
You know what, Joe just said something at 4 o'clock today. He's trying to. Joe just said something at 4 o'clock today. He said on Twitter. He says the cringe is crazy. He said black history and black stories will not be erased, denied, or banned from our nation's conscience, no matter how hard people may try. But see, Joe, Joe's not trying to really. He's not trying to help pass an anti-black. He's not really trying to come up with an executive order for an anti-black racism crime bill. He just said that
Why you waiting?
That right there was just to get the old Negroes to vote that are scared of Trump.
That's just a statement that somebody wrote for him. He couldn't even repeat that statement to you if you asked him, what did you put on Twitter? You don't know.
Listen to this. 500,000 immigrants could eventually get U.S. citizenship with a sweeping new plan from Biden. That was all for that vote. Whoa.
Okay, so there's 50 million foundationals, they say, in America. What's 10% of that?
10% of 50 million.
Look it up. Do it real quick. I bet you'd be surprised by what that number is.
Let's just do 30 million. Let's just do 30 million. 10% of 30 million.
47 2 years ago.
Well,
so you gotta give it 50.
Give it 50.
Yeah, okay. So you say more foundationals die every year than are born?
No, well, this is what they used to always say. They used to always say that it's only 17 million of us. I always figured it was 30 million. But you're saying give it 50 million.
Yeah, give it 50. And you go 10% of that 50 million.
That's 5 million people.
Okay. 5 million people. So say 10% of foundationals are just fed up with Donald or with Joe Biden.
Right.
10%. Whether they vote Republican or don't vote at all. Not voting is voting Republican in the Republicans' eyes. That's why I will give you $1. And I'll give your listeners $1 every time you've ever heard a Republican tell you to go vote. They don't do that.
No, they don't. Yep.
They want the lame, dusty Negro, the lame African, the lame motherfucker that I ain't voting, I don't give a fuck, I don't give a fuck about this. That's what they want. You know what I'm saying? That's why you never hear that. So here's the Democratic Party. They're shaking in their boots, DP. They cannot lose this election because this is going to be at least 8 to 12 years.
Yeah. And guess what? Look, Trump, he's not really worried about the black vote. He's really not. Like the Republicans are probably the most stubborn voting base. They only have 2 or 3 things that they want. With the Democrats, it's 50 million things. It's illegals, LGBT, passing benign neglect laws against foundational blacks. They got 10 to 15 different things that they always try to sell you on. The Republicans just say they want gun rights, pro-life. They got a few other little topics, but they really don't really try to do a lot of new pandering. It's the same old dish. It's steak and eggs. That's it.
Well, they bank on, when it comes to black people, they bank on the fed upness with the Democrats.
Yeah.
So they can be 5 to 10 12% every 4 years. They figured they don't need all the black votes.
Just a few.
They need enough to put a dent in it. Now think of this. The election 4 years ago was like me and you. Let's say me and you are on a basketball court and we're playing 21 and we both got 20. And I score to get 21, but I clearly traveled. Okay? And the referee didn't call it. So I won because of the referee not calling that travel, right?
Right.
That's how the Democratic Party won the election 4 years ago.
Just barely.
No, they cheated.
Yeah, they
thing is, they cheated, but they cheated the biggest crooks in the world.
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying? And it's for the Democratic Party, it's almost a Robin Hood mentality. I don't know if you're familiar with Robin Hood. I'm sure you are.
Yeah.
So it's like we had to lie. Nancy Pelosi will tell you in private, we had to lie. We ain't lie. We can't get these motherfuckers out of here. No different than what these bullshit ass charges are against Trump. I don't support Donald Trump. I don't give a fuck about him either, but a spade is a spade. These are trumped up charges to try to distract him from being president.
And, you know,
to the point where behind closed doors, I guarantee he's going to get an offer. Hey, man, we'll let all this shit go if you just don't run. We'll let all this shit go.
I'm hearing reports that, you know, some of the charges, even like the sentencing, will be damn near like misdemeanor.
Hey, and Trump, yes, I'm saying, but the thing is they want the narrative. They want the Democratic Party to say, you're going to vote for this guy who just got convicted of 34 felons, and you're going to vote for somebody you don't even know if he ain't going to jail or not? Think of how easy that would be. What would your campaign be if you was going against me and I got 34 felonies and I'm about to face sentencing? What you finna say?
Well, you know what?
Don't vote for this criminal? This guy who just lied to the American people and got a hooker with the White House money?
Yeah, what he should do, he should double down. He should say, well, hey, if Bill Clinton could get some head in the office, I should be able to get a hooker. What else is he going to say?
Yeah, he should say that. And I'm not, like I said, I ain't no Trump dude. I give that dude another thing I give him credit for. He ain't into all that snitching.
No, he ain't.
Trump ain't talking. He know, and like he told, when Hillary Clinton said, "What he never paid his taxes," he said, "You damn right, change the law." He said, he called it a loophole, and not only you, the reason if you get in office, you ain't gonna change it either because your buddies benefit from it. He kept it real. He called it this whole country's a loophole.
I would just go dirty. I would just be who I am. I would say, look, you passed this 94 crime bill. Yeah, I should apologize to the Central Park 5. Yeah, I had a hooker. But Bill Clinton got blown back. Saxophone Bill. I said, did he have his saxophone when he had Monica in there? That's what I'd say.
That's the whole thing. I mean, this trial is done to just hurt his credibility. Because, like I said, if you were running against me and I had 34 felonies, what you gonna bring up?
You know what's crazy though? I don't think the Republican Party, they really don't want to support him because he'll call them out too. They have to.
What? They got no choice.
They have to.
They got no choice, and guess what? They got no choice. But as much as Republicans might have been mad with him and something, hey, he stuck. At the end of the day, he was on code more than any Republican I ever saw.
Yeah, he was.
I heard Republican presidents complain about immigrants. Never do nothing about that shit. Donald Trump, if you are in America and you're on a green card, a work visa, and you have a guilty verdict or guilty plea on your record for anything, I could come to your house and kick you out, which is what he did. Do you know the emphasis on what ICE was? The ICE agents and the ICE program that Donald Trump created.
What was it?
Like I said, if you are here in America, there's some foreigners you see that are here on a green card. That's something you get before you pass your citizenship, which you have to take a test to pass. So you have that prior to that. If Donald Trump's thing was, if you're not an American citizen and you're in this country, even if you're here legally, and you have a criminal record, a DWI, a domestic violence, I don't care, a trespassing, I will come to your house and I can get rid of you. And guess what? The government seizes your property.
Wow.
That happened all over America. If you go to the Cedar Riverside now, the only winos and bums you're going to see is the motherfuckers born here. Or the winos and bums that just didn't have a record. That, man, Donald Trump had a clean sweep up here.
I just seen an article here. This Ecuadorian migrant, they say, allegedly raped a 13-year-old. And this dude, he raped a 13-year-old at a park. And then he agreed. Then during tape confession, he basically said, that he did it. And and so
they don't know who they're bringing over here.
Oh yeah, they don't.
They don't care. Guess what? They get that nigga's vote before he gets sentencing. He's already when they bring you here and they do anything, any relief you get from white people during this time, especially the Democratic Party, they're gonna sit down with you. Go by the next time you go by a homeless encampment center here in Minneapolis. I promise you, if you sit there for at least 45 minutes, you're going to see some white folks pulling up with some lunches like we used to get at school. You know what I'm saying? You know them little lunches we used to get?
Right.
Pull out with them lunches, hand it to them, and you're going to have somebody sitting down next to him, and he's going to be writing down some shit. What he's doing is telling them, fill this out. This is retroactive in your vote. You're homeless, so, we don't want you coming to the polls. This is what they were doing 4 years ago. That was their whole thing. Is we're going to get all the homeless. We don't care. This is a race to votes. Understand what I'm saying, DP and their listeners. They took illegal people that were in America and motherfuckers that wanted to come to America and said, let's go. We are now legitimizing you so you can vote for us. That's the desperation the Democratic Party has.
Man, this dude was arrested in Texas. He crossed the border in 2021. And then the immigration judge ordered him to leave the country, and he basically had a machete. So you're gonna start seeing, not.
So what happened when was he ordered to leave the country? Before he raped her?
Yeah, 2022.
So what was he out on bond, or what? How was he still here then?
Let me look at the other article.
So when the judge orders deportation, you gone, man.
Look, migrant accused of sexually assaulting a 13-year-old in New York Park. This was in broad daylight. Was ordered removed by an immigration judge 2 years ago. So it says right here that an immigration judge in New York told him he needs to leave the country in February 2nd, 2022. It says Inga Landi, who was charged to be set to be charged with rape for the horrific June 13th assault in Casino Park, likely applied for some form of relief or appealed the removal ruling to remain in the U.S. He should have been deported a long time ago. He crossed the border June 25th, 2021 with his son in Eagle Pass, Texas, where he was captured, processed, and released by Border Patrol agents. He and his son then he was released to a local nonprofit with a document providing a future court date known as Notice to Appear. The family was deemed inadmissible by border agents because they lacked proper documentation to the U.S., but were released with the notice to appear in immigration court for humanitarian reasons. Man.
That's amazing, man. This guy should
with a machete.
This is, hey, man, I hope that little girl is able to recover from this. But you know what? If she is, she's going to be one rich little girl.
Well, he ain't got no money, so I don't know what kind of lawsuit.
I'm not suing him. Fuck him. I'm suing the county that deported him but never got rid of him. You know what I'm saying? I'm suing whoever enabled him to be in America. If he was a part of this Biden bullshit, allowing all these migrants to come here, I'm suing the pants off these people. But, I mean, the first thing in my brain would be my daughter. Get her in the right counseling, make sure she got the right love around her, But this motherfucker, man, I'm suing the pants off these people. This is a joke. Joe Biden and the Democratic Party is cutting their nose off and spite their face again. And they do everything they can to undermine the black man, and it ends up biting them in their face. They don't want to take care of blacks, so they brought Somali over here. We'll get them a benefit we give blacks because we hate blacks. And then once so you see that. Now that would cut out their nose and spike their face because all this problem is being caused, not just in Minnesota. There's Somalians screwing people. I just found out them guys that had that $40 million scam, the Feed in the Future. I don't know if you heard about that.
Oh, yeah, they indicted more.
This brother told me, man, they gave one girl 40 years. One little Somali girl. And when they dropped off, you heard about the lady that dropped off $100,000 at the juror's house?
Yeah,
as soon as the judge heard that, he revoked all those guys facing charges as bond. All y'all get to jail. Y'all got money. What the fuck is all this? But see, that's step one. Because if America could do it over again, they would never fuck with Somalians. Period. They would never fuck with them because they're different from all Africans. Then you got they cut their nose off and spite their face. They don't. First, it's these migrants. They bring them here instead of helping out blacks. Look what they're doing. You're going to hear a lot of cases about them raping motherfuckers.
Oh, there was a case that I reported that on one of my podcasts a couple months back, and I think it was Brainerd, where it was a bunch of where it was like five, So that, you know what that tells me? That tells me they come from a lawless place.
Black man.
That tells me they come from a lawless place, and they've been doing it. You don't just jump up.
He might just be a pedophile. But you're telling me, instead of them dealing with all these migrants, dealing with Somalians, why can't they just get on good relations with the black man?
Because they understand.
They don't understand, but they need a buffer.
Yeah.
That lady that said my 40 acres and a mule was speaking 100% the truth.
They know what we want.
He didn't want to tell her. He couldn't tell her the real reasoning for doing that. The real reasoning is because we know we've alienated you foundationals to the point where we're going to lose out on some votes.
Yeah, they know that one thing, and see, that's a lot of times. Remember what Hillary Clinton told? So, hey, just promise them something. Don't give them. Just say you understand. Don't promise them anything. They know exactly what we're owed, and they know what we want. But they play that, well, we just understand.
Have to do it. Days don't have the rights they do. The Chinamen don't have the rights they do because the white man woke up one day and said, I'll just bless them. It was in turn for votes. Everybody you see that's getting rights, is getting this, is getting laws passed to protect them. It's all happening by whom? The Democratic Party. These are interchangeable for votes. So blacks, foundationals, obviously, there's a long, deep-rooted animosity with whites. But if they knew we can get 100% of the white vote or the foundational vote, it comes to the table. The thing is you need the buffer system. That woman was speaking the truth.
Now listen to this.
That white man, if he had the balls, would tell you, we got all these migrants here to make up for y'all not voting for us. That person in the buffer in the middle would say, all right, how can we bridge the gap between that?
I want to play something real quick before
in that conversation. That's it.
I want to play something before we close real quick. This is an interesting thing by Dr. Claude Anderson about elections 4 years ago.
People in this country, and that they're going to practice politics based on a simple premise out of there, because they're in there right now. Trump is drawing his strength from those senators, those Republican senators. You should send 23 of those candidates out there to try to run for a public office against those Republican candidates if you really want to be serious about what you're doing. And the Democratic Party is foolish in that respect. Secondly, the Democratic Party has never explained to black people in this country that they're going to practice politics based on the simple premise of what politics is in place for. Politics is a process that decides who will get what benefits out of life, and who's going to get it and how they're going to get it. And yet the Democratic Party has never told black folk that. And so what you should be voting for out there is not for a political candidate based on his personality. Well, I like this candidate for this reason. I like that for that reason. You should be saying, I want to pick the person who's going to provide the most benefits to black people. They're not going to provide any benefits to black folk. Why are you voting? You go to the supermarket and you go in there and you starve to death, and you need some groceries. You go to the supermarket, walk up to the cashier and give him $50, say, I'm buying $50 worth of food, and you don't have to give me anything for it. Just take the $50 and I'm going back by my business. See, that's what the Democrats are doing. And black people don't understand that the Democratic Party has never, ever done anything in the history of this nation to be effectively do something for black folk. They didn't do it when they were the old Democratic Party. They were the old Democratic Party up to about the late 1950s. Then all of a sudden, when black folk left the old Republican Party to come into become Democrats, the old Democrats called Yellow Dog Democrats, they left the party and went over and joined the Republican Party to stay away from black folk. So the present day Democratic Republican Party is nothing but the old Dixiecrats from the South. And now they're going around bragging about their conservatives. And black folk are saying, well, I'm going to vote for him because he's less conservative, or he's more conservative, he's liberal. Neither have the liberals ever done anything for black folk. Just like the conservatives. Conservatives have never done anything for black folk. And they have no intentions to do anything for black folk. So what you need to do then is to go back and say, now we're going to have to play this game to win. And if you're going to play to win, look at my book, Powernomics. Go to chapter, I think it's chapter 7, that talked about becoming independent and building your own independent party. Neither party is going to do anything for you. As far as the present day candidates, if I was picking one and I'm not going to vote, I quit voting when I found that neither party going to do anything for black folk. Out of all the candidates, most of the Democratic candidates haven't got a snowball's chance in hell right now winning. You got Sanders up there talking about, well, Sanders about, well, I'm going to bring in socialism. This country is not going to vote for socialism. That's never going to happen. Then you had another guy who's gay mayor up in one of the northern areas. I think it's maybe Gary, Indiana, someplace. And he's talking about he's married to another man in the White House. Nobody's going to vote for two men in the White House. One of them called himself the new lady, first lady, now to be the first man married to another man in the White House. He ain't got a snowball's chance. And the other one out there, you got Biden. Biden is weak. Biden has never done anything for black folk. You ask him, what are you going to do for black folk in terms of the principles of politics? He hasn't got one single thing he's going to offer to do and propose to do. Yet he'll go around these primaries, you find all these blacks rallying, trying to vote for Biden. On what basis? Well, because he was the vice president under Obama. Hell, Obama didn't do anything for black folk. That's not a positive being identified with Obama. For black folk, that's a negative. But all black folk are rallying to Biden. He ain't gonna make it. And you got, let me tell you, you got Warren, senatorial candidate, who was, she was a senator, I guess.
Independent voting party. You've been talking about this for a while. Black independent party.
Yep.
You said the independent voting party.
Well, blacks need their own council. You need the buffer. I keep telling you, when that girl with the 40 acres and the mule, that lady, you need the buffer. It's simple communications. White people don't have to like you to do business with you.
You said you need the buffer. Here's another real quick thing I'll play and then we'll close it out. Now this is from 1995.
And by that, more specifically, the institutionalization of racism is exposed for what it really is in American society. You kick over some sacred cows in this book, don't you?
Yes, I do. And that was my primary purpose. What I wanted to do, Daryl, in writing that book was two things. First of all, I wanted to send out a wake-up call to Black America. And secondly, I want to prove three things. First of all, is that are blacks in the predicament that we're in, and have we been in this predicament for 400 years because what's been told us, first of all, that it was by divine decree, or that it was genetically inherited, or was it really social engineering? And I went back and found out that it's primarily social engineering. That black folk in the predicament they're in because of social engineering. And what's happened to us all this time, Daryl, is that we've got locked into the lowest status of a no-win monopoly game. That means that we've had wealth in this country redistributed or maldistributed based on skin color going from the lightest to the darkest, lightest, yellow, brown, black. And the wealth has been skewed. So what happens in this country now is you got the white society controlling almost 100% of all the income.
Let me fast forward a little bit here.
We will grant meritorious manumission. That's why all these southern states had meritorious manumission laws to any black who goes against his own people.
Which in effect said that blacks could be freed.
That's right.
To enjoy rights and privileges in the society for becoming traitors to their own race.
Right.
Now that right there, they use that term meritorious manumission. Now, those are the current coons and the sambos that we talk about. When you mention like, okay, well, this guy here, he'll sell out other blacks. You mentioned bad record deals. I'm at the point of calling that cooning. If you're ripping off other blacks and you're just doing that to black folk, to me, that's on the edge of cooning. In my book.
Right.
Well, look, we're going to wrap this up, man. We've been going at it for a while. I'm going to edit this and get it out by the weekend. And I'll probably break it into a couple different parts so people can enjoy it and stuff. And
you got it.
So we'll do this again, man, pretty soon.
You got it, brother.
All right, brother. Take care.
Peace.
Yeah, peace.